Hello and welcome to Rochester Works. My name is Paula Roth.
And I am Todd Sloan.
And we are on the job search team at Rochester Works. Today's presentation is an intro to networking. What is it? Why and when would you use it? We'll focus on getting you prepared and what key methods you should consider when preparing yourself to formally or informally network. Preparation is essential for putting your best foot forward.
Networking is really about making connections, and we want to talk today about different forms of networking. Our focus is going to be informational meetings, and one myth I wanted to spell right up front is a lot of times when we say networking or people hear the word, they think about networking groups, which are groups of job seekers who have gotten together to help one another land their next position. Today's real focus is informational meetings. These are typically one-on-one meetings with someone who is an expert in the field that you're pursuing or the type of work that you're doing, or maybe who work at a company that you're interested in learning more about. So why have informational meetings? First of all, it's a chance to meet new people. Most job seekers who've landed their job, we ask them, what did you like most about your job search? And this is typically the most enjoyable part of job searching, is meeting new people and making those connections. Secondly, when we look at the statistics, informational meetings allow you to tap the hidden job market. Really what that means is learn about opportunities before they become advertised publicly. People who are working today, between 65 and 85% of those people found their job through this hidden job market, learned about an opportunity before a lead was even posted publicly. And one of the secrets to this is being found. So when you start doing informational meetings, you're going to learn a lot, you're going to make great new connections, and what also happens is you might be the person who is thought of when an opportunity arises before it ever becomes public. In advertising, they talk about TOMA, which is top of the mind awareness. And that means opportunity happens because you've already talked to someone in the organization, you've made those connections, they think of you first.
Keep in mind that when you're conducting an informational meeting, you're not necessarily applying for a job, but instead you're trying to make a connection. This is your opportunity to let others learn about you and what skills you have. Don't be afraid to ask those around you who they know, or do they know of a company that may be looking for an individual such as yourself. It's all about being found. Networking can occur anywhere: your favorite restaurant, the grocery store, your kids' sporting events. Don't let an opportunity pass you by. It may be an impromptu meeting or a scheduled meeting, but always be on the lookout.
Even though informational interviews are one of the most effective forms of job search, they still can be fearful for some of us because, well, at the very least, they're a different way of approaching our search. And for some of us, just that change alone can be a little intimidating. You're not actually applying for jobs. You're talking to people and learning. Another common fear that people run into in approaching this process is rejection. I mean, you're going to have to go out there, you're going to ask people, hey, can I have some of your time? Can I meet with you? So there is a little bit of risk there as well. And for some of us, it can be about asking for help. Frankly, the people you meet with are going to help you. They're probably, by and large, going to be very helpful. But really, what you're doing with an informational meeting is asking for information. You're really learning. It's not so much asking for help as saying, you know, someone I know suggested that we meet, and because you've got some knowledge and some expertise, and I'd love to learn from you. The last thing that for some people is a challenge about this process is it's a little less obvious how it relates to job search. Hey, if you go to an internet site, find a lead and apply, it seems like, well, this is real obvious. I'm looking for work. I'm applying for a job. You're really not doing that with this process. So it involves some trust that, you know, I'm going to meet some people, I'm going to learn some things, and good is going to come from that. What we typically tell job seekers is really simple. Schedule 6 to 12 meetings, informational meetings, and if it's not a wonderful experience that benefits your search, try a different method. We rarely have anyone with 6 to 12 meetings who don't come back to us and say, wow, this is incredible, I'm having fun, I'm learning a lot, and it's generating ideas that are beneficial in my search. So the best way to have a successful informational meeting and overcome any concerns you might have about it is to plan, prepare, practice, and then just do it. Planning means knowing what the purpose of your informational meeting is, being clear about that in your own mind. And preparing means two things. First of all, it's really helpful if you are doing this for the first time to prepare what you're going to say on the phone when you ask for an appointment to meet with someone. Also, you want to prepare as you get informational meetings how you're going to conduct the meetings. Have some questions prepared and just think about that ahead of time so you're more comfortable. For those of us who maybe haven't done marketing or sales or for whom this is still uncomfortable, practice. We often have people just do a little role play, call a friend and pretend you're setting up a meeting so you get comfortable with asking for a meeting. You know, we joke around and say, talk to your dog or your cat. They won't reject you. So that way you're a little bit more comfortable. But regardless, just get out and do it. The proof is in doing it with this kind of thing. So the best thing is once you have planned and prepared, done a little bit of practice if necessary, pick up the phone, call some people that you know, and ask them for any ideas they have around who you might meet with that will help you with your purpose and your goal in your job search. So the first step in preparing is going to be writing out an outline or maybe even a script for what you're going to say on the phone if you ask someone for a meeting. And the key to this being effective is knowing what the purpose of the meeting is, knowing it for yourself and being able to state that to them. Here we've listed several very useful purposes for informational meetings. It might be to tap into their knowledge of some of the key skills or competencies in your area of interest. It might be, if you're interested in their organization, learning more about the culture at that workplace. It also could be having them look at your skills and abilities and say, hey, what are some additional occupations that I might want to look at? And then you can also very simply say, now that you know a little more about me and I know a little more about you, you've got a lot of experience in the field. What are some other companies that I could look at that might value my skills? And then lastly, always ask for other people that they could recommend that you might talk to learn more. Once you're clear about the purpose of your informational meeting with this particular individual, write out a brief outline or script of what you're going to say on the phone when you ask for the meeting. A very simple outline for this is to make sure very early in the conversation to tell them who recommended that you call them. You don't want them to think you're a salesperson or someone who's making a cold call. So you just simply might say, hi, my name is Joe, and Susan recommended that I speak to you. Then restate the purpose. I'd like to meet with you to learn more about, and you fill in the blank with whatever it is you want to learn about in that meeting. And then it's usually helpful to suggest some times to them. You don't want the person to think you want to meet for half a day or take an hour out of their day. It's very important to keep these meetings brief and be respectful of the person who's really contributing their time to assisting you. So typically you might say, I'd love to meet with you for 15, maybe 20 minutes at the most, at a time convenient for you. It could even be before or after work or during lunch. This way they know you're not asking for a great deal of time and it's not necessarily going to impact their work day.
Now that you've prepared yourself and hopefully have an idea of where you want to go or who you want to connect with, it's time to get going. At the meeting, give an overview of what skills you have and what your goals are for the meeting. Let them know you are looking for information and that they may be able to help you with that. It takes the pressure off of who you're meeting with when they know in advance that you're just looking to pick their brains. Set goals for yourself. It may be you're looking to connect with a specific person, or you want to connect with 3 or 4 people in a week's time. Make your goals realistic. After all, that thing called life does sometimes get in the way. Thanks again for your time, and we wish you all the best for a successful job search.